Lawrence Keynes, the celebrated Oxford Don, later to become captain of Mount Orgueil Castle. The shadowy figure of alchemist astrologer Dr. John Dee, playwright and part-time spy Christopher Marlowe, and the fabulously wealthy Earl of Northumberland, known through the land as the Wizard Earl. Inevitably, charges of atheism were brought against the group, but dropped after Sir Walter addressed an assembled rustic court and made fools of his accusers.
Ralegh in Jersey.
As Sir Walter was fluent in French and an expert in defence, he was appointed to be the first naval governor and captain of Jersey in 1600. His mission was to demolish Mount Orgueil Castle and use its stone to construct a more defendable fortress. When Sir Walter saw the magnificent edifice which was Mount Orgueil, he dispatched a letter to his queen. In it, he stated that
It's a stately fort of great capacity, and if a small matter may defend it, it were a pity to cast it down.
He then dedicated its replacement in St. Aubin's Bay to the Queen, Fort Isabella Bellissima Elizabeth Castle. He also took this opportunity to appoint a maitre de chasse to ensure the protection of his hunting rights on the island. On his second visit to the island in 1602, he continued his work by setting up a court allowing local people to air their grievances. There is a famous case where Sir Walter determined the ownership of Jean Guil's cow. When he presided at a state sitting, the long-talked-about land register was finally set up, which continues to the present day. In this period, Ralegh was instrumental in forging trading links between the islanders and the New World, a legacy which continues to benefit today's islanders.
Ralegh in the Tower.
In the year of our Lord, 1603, Queen Elizabeth I of England entered the paradise known to mere mortals as heaven. To fill the void where an earthly goddess had once dwelt, King James VI of Scotland was crowned as King James I of England. James had a steadfast fear of witchcraft and passionately believed that smoking was extremely devilish behaviour. Therefore, as Sir Walter was the main instigator of this demonic practice, he must be in league with the Horned One. Inevitably, in 1603, Sir Walter was charged with plotting against the king. When tried, the chief prosecutor, Sir Edward Coke, addressed him as
the greatest Lucifer that ever lived.
Sir Walter used his quick logic and sparkling wit to convince everyone that he was innocent. But alas, the jury, fearing the king's wrath, pronounced Sir Walter guilty as charged. The noblest of all knights was sentenced to be hung, drawn and quartered. Fearing an outcry from the good people of the gentle kingdom, the frightened king waited until the day of execution before reducing the sentence to imprisonment in the Tower for an indefinite period. Sir Walter was also stripped of most of his privileges, including the governorship of Jersey. His celebrity status attracted many famous visitors, including the King's son, Prince Henry. All wanted to meet the last great Elizabethan gentleman. Sir Walter spent his time conducting scientific experiments and writing his greatest literary work,
The History of the World.
After 13 years of confinement, he put forward a scheme to go back to Guyana in pursuit of gold. As the king was in dire need of funds, he agreed, on the express condition that Raleigh must not confront any Spaniards. Unfortunately, the expedition encountered the dastardly Spanish, and Sir Walter's son, Watford, was killed. Against everyone's advice, a heartbroken hero returned home to clear his name. On return, the king was more than glad to give in to the Spanish demand of Raleigh's blood. After a private hearing where the prosecutor famously remarked,
You have lived like a star at which the world hath gazed, and like a star you must fall when the firmament is shaken.
our noble knight was sentenced to death. On October the 29th, 1618, Sir Walter Raleigh faced his final adventure. Examining the executioner's axe, he remarked,
This is a sharp medicine, but it is a physician for all diseases.
The bloody deed was done, and his head was given to his beloved wife, who kept it by her side in a red velvet bag for 29 years.
Raleigh, the ultimate Renaissance man.
What a business is a man, and what a business was a man such as Raleigh. He was a seafarer, a soldier, a poet, an author, a courtier, a governor, and much, much more. Above all, he was a free spirit, never afraid to venture anywhere his natural curiosity would take him. Whether it be the steaming jungles of South America or the political jungle which was Elizabeth's court. He was at ease when conversing with a humble sailor or discussing the latest scientific breakthroughs with the greatest intellectuals of his day. He was the brightest jewel in Gloriana's crown, a man who personified the English Renaissance. In the words of Christopher Marlowe,
Our souls, whose faculties can comprehend the wondrous architecture of the world, and measure every wandering planet's course, still climbing after knowledge infinite, and always moving as the restless spheres, will us to wear ourselves and never rest.